उठा दिखाएं
अभी
4 यूनिट खत्म करना है, कैसे होगा?
हो जाएगा, थोड़ा सा कम लगेगा। Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so sorry for that. Again, welcome back to the class of strategic management. Yesterday, we finished up block 3. Today, we'll try to finish up block 4. That would be the last block of this subject. So, starting with, in block 4, unit 10, we'll talk about strategy implementation and control. Here, you will be understanding different aspects of leadership. We'll also talk about ethics and values, and these are the structure of the course. In fact, this unit. So we'll continue. We'll not waste any time. We'll continue. Now look at this. Why it is important when I talk about behavioral dimension in unit number 10, I mean the behavior of the workforce, especially the CEO, the top brass of the organization. When I say top brass, I mean the leadership. I mean the leaders of the organization. The way they guide, they show direction to the organization, that is very, very vital. Because if you are a leader, you need to walk the talk. You cannot simply sermonize or give suggestion, but you will not follow yourself. So an effective leader and effective leadership always go an extra mile in order to motivate its people, and those leaders become icon. And there are so many leaders around us, including our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If I talk about corporate world, Ratan Tata, Dhirubhai Ambani, so hence and so forth. And if I talk about bosses from abroad, then we have got Elon Musk, we have got Bill Gates, you name it. And these guys, these people, they have got certain aura and influence which motivates their workforce to excel and to get the job done. Moving ahead, look at this strategic change. No, it's very important. As I have been telling you, there's a saying in English, different strokes for different folks. You don't have one strategy for every company. There would be different problems at hand, and the company has to have a new strategy which will be different from other company. So once I get these strategies in place, at least for a year, I need to stick to it. I'm not talking about tactics over here. Tactics is a short term. When you actually go in the field, you start working. When you face some problem, you change it. But in the strategy, at least for a year, you have to stick with that. But if the situation arises that you need to change it, then the management, the top brass, the bosses should be able to adopt, should be able to change their strategy as per the need of the surrounding, need of the industry. However, it is not an easy job, because every time you sit, you change your strategy, it has an impact on your workforce, the way your business is functioning. So it will have an impact, will have a change, but you should not be letting the external environment uh, go better of you. You need to have a strategies, slight here and there changing, but you need to have a strategy in place for every situation. Moving ahead. Now, why it is important that the strategies should be in line, in sync with the organization structure. Look, it's very simple. Every organization, they have their own mission, vision, they have their own culture, ethics, and values. Now, if my strategies are not in line with my organizational structure, then the business is not going to happen, because both the factors, they go hand in hand. So unless I have the right strategy as per the structure of my organization, or as per the strategy I devise my structure of the organization, I cannot be successful in business. It's mentioned over here that there are, certain critical factors in a strategy which is very, very important in terms of executing those strategy. And if I don't have the right set of people, right set of skill, I won't be able to get that strategy successful. So I hope this is clear. We'll move ahead. Leadership. I have been talking about leaders and leadership. Why it is important? Leaders are those people in an organization who are at the top of the structure. Now, these people, they have their vision defined, they have a say in strategies, and other people, other executives below them, they have to follow it. Now, leadership and leaders becomes very important. It's like a ship, the captain of a ship. In turmoil, in tumultuous time, the captain knows how to get the ship to the safe shore. Same goes over here. So leaders are those people who have got their vision very clear, and they show direction by walking the talk, by displaying that which direction the organization should move if it has to survive the tumultuous time in the business scenario. So leaders become very, very important, and their capability to lead, there is a saying, um, a donkey leading a pack of lion will not be very effective in terms of vis-a-vis a lion, leading a group of donkey. So leaders are people who can motivate the employees, the workforce to go extra mile and get the job done. If you don't have a right leaders and leadership, then trust me, your organization will be having a very tough time. Moving ahead. Now, function of leadership, we already know, but just to brief you. Now, leaders, they are involved in everything. They have to, set the target of the company. They are also involved with the individuals. If there is some problem with the human resource, they are over there. They are taking care of the work. They are evaluating it, allocating resources. So the job, the most important job lies with the leaders. So leaders, the person who are leading the organization, they need to have a very sensible set of thinking. They should be, hand in glove with every function of the organization. And if a leader, if the bosses are involved, then that motivates or that encourages the human resource to work and to get the job done. So we spoke about the leader. We also got some good examples from different aspects. Now is the function of leadership. We'll move ahead. Now, leadership style. Now, there are many types of leadership style. I mean, the way your organization requires leaders easily change the way they work. So, Khandwala, a writer, has suggested there are 5 types of working style of leadership. Okay, first thing first is a risk taker. They don't mind or they don't shy away from risk. If they have to achieve certain things, they will go an extra mile, they will go and get the job done. Second would be optimizing types of leadership. We are like, no, they would like to use the resources in the most judicious way. They don't want to waste even a drop of the resources. Third would be flexibility. Leaders are flexible in terms of the situation which might come up. They are not very rigid, they are not very stringent in terms of their style. As the situation demands, they will do. Participative leadership. It means that leaders are I have been telling you this thing. They are they are involved in every aspect of the business organization. May not be physically, but they should be knowing everything what is happening in the organization, like the tip of their on the tip of the fingers. So there is another style of leadership. And finally, the coercion. It means that people, that leaders who believe in threatening, who believe in creating an environment of fear, that if I don't work, if I don't get the target, I might lose my job. So these all five styles of leadership, they have got their own pros and cons. So you have to use them as per the need arises, as per the requirement of your organization, of your workforce. So five types, five orientation of leadership style. Moving ahead. Corporate culture, what exactly it is. If I talk about culture, I talk about the way we live, the way we dress up, the way we eat. Same goes over there. And every organization will have a different set of culture, corporate culture. Now, if I talk about, let's say, banking industry, the banking industry, the culture is very formal. You have to be in tie, formals, you have to be clean shaven. But if I talk about, let's say, media industry, advertising world, so you are not required to shave every day. You are not required to wear a tie because these two industries are completely different and they have got a different kind of culture. But the bottom line is that a job should be done. So the way the employee behave, the way the bosses behave, what is expected out of you, your timing, your time of leaving, the work pressure, they all fall and they all build up a culture. And different organizations have got their different work culture on the basis of their goal, on the basis of their objectives. Now I have been talking about ethics and values. Now ethics and values very, very important, not only in corporate life, but also in your day-to-day life. If you are not ethical, if you don't have any values, trust me, you are like a vagabond. A vagabond means a person who doesn't have any stay. He or she keeps on moving and so flexible and so loosely oriented that anyone can sway anyone, in any other direction. So I need to be strong, ethically very strong. I should have values. And when I say I mean the organization. I don't want to cut the corners. I don't want, take an example of Tata. Now, Tata has got this strong ethics that if they are working, they should not be hampering the environment as well as the society and the country. And your values must be like to help the customer, to make them happy because they are paying you for this. You should be also very, very ethical and must have values for your shareholder, your investors, people who have invested in your business, who have put their money. So if you see around companies which have got a strong ethics and values, they are able to survive for a long time. If you believe in being unethical, if you believe in having no values, only you want to make money, trust me, sooner or later, you are bound to collapse. So this is very, very important. Okay. You should also not be sharing any information which is private to the organization. So these are the certain ethics and values an organization expects from its employees. And these things, these two factors, ethics and values, the build up of image of an organization. And that image will take you, the brand equity, the brand image will take you in a long run, will take you for a long distance. So, if I have to summarize this thing here, we spoke about the leadership, the style of leadership. We also spoke about the corporate culture. We also discussed about the ethics and values. And I hope that you got some feed, you got some idea that why corporate culture is important, why ethics and values are important for anyone, for any organization. So we have finished up this unit. Now we'll move to next unit number 11, which is corporate governance. Now, as the name suggests, once we finish up this unit, we will be able to understand the the origin of corporate governance, what exactly it means, and what are the pillars or the ingredients of corporate governance. So moving ahead, meanwhile I'll take a sip of water. Why corporate governance is important? Look, governance means the right rule, the right way of doing work. If you're in the business of making money, if you're in the business of serving people, society, and country, you need to have set of ethics and values, and also there must be a right way to conduct the business. It should not happen that you're fooling the society, you're fooling people, you're taking their money and you're not giving anything equal to their money in return. So it has got these two factors, internal as well as external, which we'll discuss as we move ahead. And this corporate governance is not only confined to India, but it is prevalent, rampant across the globe. Any company, maybe a private sector or government control body, PSUs, they all follow this thing. So let's see what exactly it is and how, before we move, what exactly it is, how it has evolved, the evolution of corporate governance. It all started way back during Maurya Empire, when Chandragupta Maurya started this Maurya Empire with the help of Acharya Chanakya. From there, they started the best practices. When I say best practices, I mean to have values and to have ethics if you are running the show. Then as the time progresses, in 19th century, we have this company's law, which also help an organization or a company to abide by certain rules and regulations. Now, a time we have got board of directors, we have got people who are always advocating that there should be right set, or there should be rules and regulation by which an organization should run, and that is known as corporate governance. Because unless you don't have rules and regulation, you can go in any direction. The idea of a business is to make money, but not at the cost of cutting corners. So if you have got the right set of ethics and values, and if you are governed with rules and regulation, which might be internal or might be external. Maybe government has made certain rules and regulation which a company has to follow in terms of paying taxes, in terms of doing CSR, corporate social responsibilities. So if you are following this thing, then trust me, you have got your name, you have got your status in the market. So moving ahead, look at this. We already spoke about the business ethics. Why it is important? I told you, business ethics means doing the right thing. It differentiates the right and the wrong. It's mentioned over here. It also speaks about that where we are, what we are doing. And we have got a vision and mission. Will you be able to achieve by whatever you're doing? So if you have got the right business ethics, you can always say right and wrong, they are very subjective, agreed. But right, when I say, I mean right by industry standards, by the standard of society, by the standard of the country. If I say taking dowry is a wrong thing, so that is a standard made by government, made by the legal bodies, and we have to abide by it. So business ethics becomes very, very important, and they are part of this corporate governance. Same will be the values. We'll move. Now look at this. I am talking about corporate governance means running the show, running the corporate, running the business organization in the right way. Keeping an eye on what is happening and what will happen. So it has got 5 ingredients. A accountability, fairness, transparency, integrity, and social responsibility. Accountability, persons, employees who have been given some jobs, some responsibilities, they should be accountable. If that doesn't happen, he will be taken for task. Fairness and transparency, they're interrelated. Whatever I am doing, or whatever my company is doing business, I should be completely transparent and fair. I should be treating everyone equally. I should not be, you know, uh, having some of my choices in terms of that I like the person and I will give him more salary or I will give him some good work. No. If you are running the show, if you are the bosses, you have to be. आपको एक आंख से सबको देखना है. And integrity, that is very, very important. What happens in the company, it stays in the company. I would not be sharing any detail or I would not be cheating or doing any fraudulent practices, financial embezzlement in my company. I should not be sharing information which are private in nature to other organizations of the same industry. And social responsibility, we all know. I cannot tarnish my surrounding, my society where my company is based just to make money, just to make profit. Because these two things, they have got a symbiotic relationship, the society and the company. You win, I win. They win, we win. So these are the five important ingredients of corporate governance, which any companies must follow, must have it. Moving ahead. Look at this. Now, is there any relationship between corporate governance and strategy? Yes, and it is directly related. When I talk about a strategy, the strategy must be in order to enhance my image, in order to increase my business, my market share, my profit. And in the process, I should be taking care of my stakeholders, my shareholders, people who have invested money. So both this thing, corporate governance and strategy, must be in line. The strategies, gives a corporate governance, keep an eye on all the strategies. You might have good strategy or bad strategies. When I say good or bad, I mean as per the norms. Bad strategy you can implement in order to get the job done, but that will be not ethical and will have values. So corporate people who are managing this governance, corporate governance, they have to be, keeping an eye on it. They should be judicious enough to understand that this strategy is not according to the right governance. So these two terms are very, very related and one has got impact on other. That's why I said directly relation, directly proportional. Moving ahead. Now, corporate governance is good. Ethics are good. Values amazing. But there are challenges in implementing this corporate governance. What exactly are? Look at this. In appointments, it might happen that certain owners, they have got their own blue-eyed boy. They would like to, favor somebody more. That's a challenge in corporate governance because that goes against the basic thread of right corporate governance. In terms of having your responsibility towards stakeholders, towards shareholders, because they have got their money when you started. Transparency issues, conflict in organization, and level of mistrust. These are the challenges which a company faces when they have to implement the corporate governance in the right and the best possible manner. Moving ahead. Now, I would like to summarize. Here we spoke about, again, values and ethics. We understood the evolution of corporate governance, which started way back in Maurya Empire in Patliputra. Then as the time progresses, in 18th, 19th century, we have got corporate laws. Now we have got the CSR policies where company has to follow. They cannot ignore the society. There are 5 ingredients for the right corporate governance. So once a company follow this thing, the ethics, corporate governance, trust me, it will have an image, it will have an equity which will be appreciated by the market, by the fellow competitors of the industry. So we have finished up 11, unit number 11. We'll move to unit number 12, that is control. All said and done. I have got ethics, I have got values, I'm doing amazing corporate governance, I have got a strategy which I have formulated. But unless I don't control, you know what is control? Control means what I set out for. I have planned certain things. But while in operation, those things, those strategy has failed. It has gone a bit haywire. So control means getting those strategy again back to the right path so that I can achieve my goal. So this is important, very, very important. So here we'll talk about what exactly the control, how it is done, different types of controls. So moving ahead, introduction. I have been telling you this thing, why it is important. The third point says the external environment may not follow certain trend. You know, I have got my strategy by considering everything, but you never know tomorrow, tomorrow what holds for you. So if my strategy is not happening, is not getting me success, I need to get it back. I need to come back and tweak it, to change it, so that I get the job done. And these strategies, the strategies which I have implemented, it's not only external, it also involves internal policies, rules, and regulation. If as per the change, I'll give you an example. You know, in today's time, people understand that your mental health is very, very vital. So in companies like Facebook or Flipkart, now Flipkart has been bought, Apple, now they provide an environment, something very similar to your home. There you can take a break, you can play a game, even you can take a nap, a power nap. Because unless you are not fully fit mentally, physically, you will not be able to give your 100%. So control becomes very, very important, not in terms of only operation, not in terms of only function doing business, but also with human resource, also with your, with your assets, your resources, maybe IT, maybe people. So here in this unit, we'll talk about this factor. Let's move. Now, functional strategy, we all know. We have done business strategy, corporate strategy, functional strategy. They are more like, operational strategy. Operational strategy means the people who are involved in the execution of the strategy. Maybe a marketing manager, a sales manager. So that becomes very, very important, especially controlling part. Because I have got my strategy, I have got my target, but if the people who are involved into operation, in function, if they are not doing it in the right way, so it might happen that I won't be able to get my job done. So I should be always having an eye, the senior bosses, the people who are in the job of supervision. They should be keeping an eye. But are we operating as per the strategy? And if something goes wrong, if something is going wrong, they should control it. They should be able to control it. It means bring it back to the planned path. And all these things, functional strategy, maybe operation, maybe sales, marketing, production, IT, they're all interlinked. They're all interlinked and they work together in tandem. And when they are working together in tandem in the right way with a lot of ethics and values and having corporate governance, then trust me, organization will boom, will grow. Moving further. Now, what are the process? How you can control this? I would like you to read this. Meanwhile, I will take another gulp. Now look at this. Now the control process can be done, has got 3 phases. First thing first is evaluation criteria. Look, I should be knowing, and that's why people, especially the marketing and sales guy, they get target. There are certain parameters on which I have to evaluate your performance. So first of all, those parameters are given to the people who are concerned. After a year, after 6 months, again, it depends upon the company, how often they do the evaluation. Those your performance are evaluated vis-a-vis the set criteria which was given to you in the beginning. And once you do that, if you see that if somebody is lacking in its actual performance with respect to the given criteria, the set criteria, then I will start the controlling process. Because if I don't control there, what will happen? The thing will go haywire and I won't be able to achieve whatever objective I have, whatever goal I have. So it is done in both the way, qualitative way and quantitative way. Quantitative, obviously, boss, this is I have, for an example, if I am, I am a sales guy, I have to do 100 units in a month. So data is involved. But if when the month ends, I'm only able to do 80. It means I'm lacking 20 units. So there must be something wrong in the way I am functioning. So I will take care of it. If I talk about qualitative evaluation, it is what exactly I am doing. And if I am doing it, will it work? Will it get me success? And if I am not confident about it, I might change my strategy. So when I talk about the controlling process of a strategy, it has got 3 criteria. First of all, evaluation criteria, where you set up the standards. Then you compare the actual performance with the set of the standard. And finally, you do the controlling. If there is something wrong, you take measures so that the person who is involved should start functioning or performing as per the set criteria. And if he's doing it okay, then you leave it. We'll move ahead. Operational control. We all know operation means the things which are in execution, which are actually working. Look at this: financial control, budget control, management by objective and time control. We have got like certain other control, MIAS, decision support system. Now here also, I need to have control. Financial control. I should not be splurging money. I have told you resources are always scarce and money is one of the great resources, a great resource. So I should be holding it. If I have to take loans, I should know the place from where I should get loan at a cheaper rate of interest. Budgeting, obviously, if I'm earning at 100, I should not be spending by year end. So that's very important. Management by objective, a concept given by Peter Drucker. Management by objective, or MOB, it is known popularly. It happens like when the bosses sit with the subordinates, with the juniors, and they together decide about the target, about the KRS, key responsibilities area. Because technically, the executive has to get the job done. So you cannot force those executives to do certain things which is not under their control, and that is on the basis of your own whims and fancies. No, it won't happen. In modern management, both the party stakeholders sit together and then they decide together and they to agree, so that tomorrow if something goes wrong, the executive cannot say that this is shoved or thrusted by you on me. Boss can always say, you also agree to this thing. So there are certain operational control also, which you just discussed. We'll move ahead. Performance standards. But when I can talk, and I'm talking about all these controls, you can always ask that on what basis I am going to be evaluated. So I have got like 3 types. Historical standards means in the last year we did this thing. We did like 1 lakh unit. We sold. So obviously on the basis of that, as we grow, as the time grows, I would also like to grow. So this year we are going to do 1,10,000 units on the basis of that historical data. Second would be industry standards. Other companies, how much they are selling. How much they are selling. I should be knowing about it. And on the basis of that, and third is present the standard. Obviously, whatever we are right now, we would like to improve ourselves. Would like to grow from where we are today. So in present standard, if I am clocking certain business, if I have got, let's say 5% of market share, obviously I would like to grow. I'd like to make 10%. So performance standards are set on the basis of three factors: historical, industry, and present standards. I hope this is clear. We'll move ahead. Now look at this: analysis and follow-up action for control. This is very, very important. Now, once you start the operation, once you start the job and you start getting actual performance, you should be able to take action. And this actual performance, the feedback, should be collected, should be done on a regular basis. And if you find that somebody is falling short of the set standard, you can take many action. You might be like, try to help him out because you are a boss, you've already done the job. Or if you see, no, the target is actually very tough. The person involved is doing a great job, but still he's unable to catch up. So you can revise the target. You can motivate your employees. But the most important thing is once you get the data of the actual job, of the actual performance, you should be able to act ASAP, as soon as possible. Because what happens if you don't take action in the right time, on the right time, it might happen the standard or the performance will further deteriorate and then it will become too late for you to fix it up. So first thing first, you always collect data of actual performance on a regular basis. Take action immediately. You can either revise the target or you can improve the performance by motivating, by coaxing. And you should be doing this thing on timely basis, because if you don't do that, trust me, something delayed is always denied. So we have to be very, very careful when you get information, we get feedback. So there should be immediate follow-up. We'll move ahead. Now problems, obviously everything, every coin has a two side. Now controlling is amazing, but there are certain issues in controlling. I would like you to go through this thing. Look at this, what it says. It might happen, I've been talking about the data. It might happen that data collected is not valid. Data, no, numbers are always fishy. If you are good at numbers, you can play the number, those numbers for your own good. So it might happen that the data is not up to the mark because you are taking data every 15 to every 1 month. So that won't be the validity. The question arises about the validity. Also the controlling system, it might happen that you want to take action, but you cannot do so because that doesn't fall under your authority. Or the person or the employees who are involved in working, they have got doubts about your controlling system, controlling pattern. They are not very, very happy. Also, if I focus more on, it's all mentioned over there, on controlling pattern, it might happen that I will lose the sight of my vision and my mission. Now, too much control suffocates the system. So I should be very, very careful where to stop and how much is moderate. If I am not able to decide, then trust me, people say that people don't leave companies, they leave their bosses. So it might happen that you are trying to control things which are not being liked by people. They consider this as unfair. You want to take action, but that's not under your authority. So there are again, you see the last point. If you rate the performance in terms of good, average, and poor, now these things they are not have no good means what? Good can be, it's very subjective in nature. It's different for me, it's different for you. So you need to, quantify it, these terms. That if you are doing good, it means you are in the bracket of, let's say, 5 to 8, very good 8 to 10. So that should be mentioned. So these are few of the problems, though the list is not very exhaustive, but a company, the management should be taking care of these things. Moving ahead. So type of strategy controls, we'll talk about it. There are different types of like premise control, special alert, implementation, strategic surveillance, like where we are working. My premise means my inference, my notion that I would like to do this thing. Or my idea is that I will be in number one, number two position after certain times. If that is not happening, I should be taking care of it. Special alert is something, some contingency comes up. Something, unexpected comes up. Then I should be able to grapple with it. I should be able to fix it up. That becomes a special alert. Implementation control. The strategy is fine, but I should be also careful about the execution part, about the implementation part. Because if the things are not implemented in the right way, it might go out of control. Strategic surveillance, all time I have to keep an eye. Through people, through taking their feedback, through collecting the data in quantity terms, in qualitative terms, so that I should be having everything at the tip of my finger. So these are different types of strategic controls by which organization, which companies undertake in order to go about the function of controlling. So in summary, we spoke about, in this unit, we spoke about the control system. We spoke about the challenges. We spoke about the definition of control. We also spoke about the different types of control, operational control. So always remember, if you are keeping this control system in check, in line, it should be able to do justice. It should be able to take action immediately. Otherwise, control system will not have any significance. So by this, we have finished up your unit 12. I will move to the last unit of block 4, that is evaluation, which is again important. Once you have set the performance criteria, you have measured the actual performance, now you would like to evaluate. So here we will talk about different types of evaluation, the tools of evaluation like balanced scorecard and so on and so forth. So moving ahead, introduction is very important. I should be knowing that whatever strategy I have devised, is it working or not? And that involves your control also. So in this unit, we'll discuss about the process of evaluation. So moving ahead, process of evaluation. It's very big. I would like you guys to read this thing. First of all, evaluation is important, as we all know, that I would like to check the action, the execution part, which I have undertaken. That makes sense or not? They are doing their job or not? So it says first phase consists of selecting the key success factors. It can be your profit, it can be your margin, rate of interest, or rate of capital employed, return on capital employed. Factor, again, it will be different from different companies. And then you start comparing with that the performance which is already set, and you have to work vis-a-vis that standard. And then finally, you do the evaluation. If that is good, you carry on with it. If that's not good, you change it, you do a controlling system, controlling part, and then you try to tweak it so that the strategy gets right on the track which you have planned for. We'll move ahead. Business portfolio analysis. Now look at this. Every organization has got different kind of businesses. Take an example of again HUL. Now HUL got different type of business portfolios which are also known as SBUs, strategic business unit. Now beauty soap has got different SBU, detergent has got different SBU. Health soap like Lifebuoy, they have got a different SBU. So different SBUs of a company, they have got different business portfolio. They have got different portfolios, maybe 5 products, 6 products. So I should be also evaluating their performance on time to time basis. Because these SBUs contribute together for the achievement of the goal of an organization. So I should be focusing on that. So when SBU, the portfolios of different product should be evaluated with respect to the set standards. Let's say for beauty soap like Lux or peers, I have set up a target that I should be clocking, let's say 100 crore in this year. After 3 months, after 6 months, I will see. Is it happening or not? And if it's not happening, then again the control will come into the picture, will come in play. So different portfolios are also analyzed by the companies, are evaluated. Evaluation का मतलब समीक्षा. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now qualitative factors that is mentioned over there. Both qualitative and quantitative factors. Quantitative we have understood. The data will tell you. But if I talk about qualitative factor, according to Seymour Tills,
ठीक. 3 मिनट पहले से. अच्छा. ठीक है यहीं से ठीक है ओके अरे
Okay, now we will talk about the qualitative factors of evaluation. Look, you know, thinkers by the name of Seymour Deals, he spoke about 6 qualitative questions which can be used for evaluating your strategies. However, they are not very exhaustive, but still you can ask these things. Whatever I am doing, is it good? Is it viable? Can it, counter risk what I am facing? Are those strategies have got a time frame that we can do this thing in this time? So these are the certain factors which a company must ask if you are into the business of evaluation. Quantitative factors, we already know that your data will talk about it. Target versus achievement. So I'll move. Balance scorecard is one of the tools started by Kaplan and Rod David Norton year 1992, and General Electric of USA has pioneered this concept where it measures your performance. It's a scientific tool. And it uses 4 aspects. It's got 4 perspectives. That is customer relationship, finance, internal process, and your learning process. But on these 4 aspects, 4 perspectives, how you're performing. And it measures your performance with respect to vis-a-vis the set standards. So that is one of the tools of doing evaluation. We'll move ahead. I'm talking about the structure for evaluation. Now you can always ask me, fair enough, sir, you have been talking all blah, blah, blah about evaluation. It's an amazing thing, but how to go about it? The best would be to start establishing responsibility centers and people who can take responsibility, people who can be made accountable for their performance, for the performance of their department, for their SBUs. And these responsibility centers should be authorized to take most of the operational decisions. I would not say policy matters, but they should be able to take decision about different operations because they are into the business. They are into the business of execution, implementation. So if they're doing amazing, they will get clap. And if they're doing bad, they should be able to take brickbat also. अगर कप्तान है भाई आप अच्छा खेलेंगे तो आपको ताली मिलेगी, खराब खेलेंगे तो आपको गाली भी मिलेगी. So that should be done with every function, with every SBUs. People should be made accountable. Responsibility must be given to them and with full authority. So tomorrow if something goes wrong and the bosses start asking that what is your performance, why we are unable to achieve our target, they should not give any excuses, any lame excuses. Moving ahead. Now, what are the features, the characteristic of an effective evaluation strategy? Look, when you are talking about doing an evaluation, it should be always concerned. It should not be extreme of anything. It must have a balanced approach. It should not be very, very extravagant. It should be economical in nature. And it should be related with the objectives and goals of the organization. And the process of evaluation should actually showcase the true nature of the work, the true picture of the business. There should not be any hiding. It should not be like, no, either you go extreme, either can be very much or very less. So the organization must be sensible enough to do the evaluation process where everything should be done in such a manner that actual work should be portrayed. It should be in line with the organization objective because that objective will be able to get your goal and mission and vision. People who are made responsible for the evaluation, they should be fair and transparent in their approach. They should not be having any favorites. Then this process, where control is also a part, will be effective for an organization. So moving ahead, now I'd like to summarize it. Here we spoke about the strategy of evaluation. We spoke about that there are qualitative evaluation as well as quantitative evaluation. We spoke about the analysis evaluation of business portfolios, and that too regularly on time to time basis. We also spoke about the tools, that is the balanced scorecard, which is one of the prominent tools given by Kaplan and Norton and pioneered by General Electric of America. And now it is used in most of the organizations of the world because of its empirical nature, because of its scientific approach. So, at the end of this subject, we also spoke about the evaluation as a process which should be fair, which should not be very extravagant. That should be economical in approach in terms of giving feedback, in terms of giving suggestion to your employees, to your workforce, so that they don't get motivated, but they get motivation and encouragement in order to get the job done, in order to get back to the work if there is some hitches. With this, we have finished up this subject called strategic management. We have finished up 4 blocks, and I hope this has given you a sound knowledge and information about this subject. So again, thank you so much for joining in. It was lovely talking to you people, though it was one-way communication, but still. So again, thank you so much. Wish you a great day ahead. Namaste.